Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Want to talk to you more today about this UPS freight deal. UPS Freight has sold to TFI International. The deal is not completed until the second quarter of the year, so a few months before the transaction is actually completed. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit because I made a video about this last week, and according to the comments section, there's a lot of confusion of what people think is going on, okay? So let's talk a little bit about, number one, UPS Freight, okay? So UPS Freight it wasn't always UPS Freight, okay? So let's go over the history of UPS Freight. UPS Freight was actually Overnight Transportation Company Corporation. I'm not sure which one, but it was Overnight Transportation. It started in 1935, and from 1935 to 1986, it was Overnight Transportation, solely owned by Overnight Transportation. In 1986, the Union Pacific Railroad Company wanted to add an LTL trucking service to their business, so they acquired Overnight Transportation in 1986 for $1.2 billion. 1986. They remained part of Union Pacific until 2003. Union Pacific in 2003 spun Overnight off into an IPO, making them a public company. They remained a public company until 2005. UPS bought the entire company for $1.25 billion. They acquired Overnight and renamed it UPS Freight. So from 2005 until 2021, they were known as UPS Freight. 2021, UPS sells UPS Freight for $800 million to the Canadian trucking company TFI International. And when the deal is complete, TFI International will change the name to T-Force Freight. So there's the history of Overnight. Had a lot of misconceptions on who owned it, what happened, that type of thing. So that was the history and the rundown of UPS Freight. Let's talk about a little bit about UPS Freight, okay? So UPS owns UPS Freight. It's a fully owned subsidiary of UPS. So it operates under UPS, but it's a different segment, a different division of their business. So in 2020, they did $3.14 billion in revenue. Big business right there. That's a big business. The sixth largest LTL freight business in the United States by revenue. Their revenue was actually down in 2020. In 2019, they did $3.26 billion in revenue. Currently, they have 14,500 full and part-time employees. 11,500 of those employees are unionized by the Teamsters, and they operate 197 facilities. 147 of those facilities UPS owns, and they own 6,340 tractors and 23,400 trailers, okay? So that's a little bit about UPS Freight. UPS Freight has not been doing very well for the past few years. In 2020, they posted an operating loss of $463 million. Whew, that's a lot of money. So if you think TFI is just going to walk in and make a bunch of money, they're not. They've got a lot of issues they've got to overcome here. So let's go back a few years. 2018, they lost $26 million. 2019, they lost $75 million. And in 2020, it jumped up to $463 million that they lost. So TFI has got a turnaround project on their hands, and it is not going to be pretty. It is not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. They are going to have their work cut out for them. Now, You got to wonder what TFI is. You got to wonder what TFI is thinking when they buy a company that's losing $400 million a year. Okay, you got to think what a company's thinking when they do that. So the CEO, the chairman, the president, and he's the chairman, the president, and the CEO of TFI International. Alan Bernard is his name. Bedard, maybe, I'm not sure. He's Canadian. He's got a little apostrophe above the E there. Not sure, but they say they're going to operate TFI is or UPS Freight T-Force, as it will be called once the deal is complete. They will operate 90% of the acquired business will operate independently within TFI International's LTL business segment under its new name, T-Force Freight. I read in an article that Mr. Bedard said TFI will honor current contracts, but hopes to add flexibility to the work rules. Now, if you're in a union, what do you think of that when you get acquired and the new CEO says, well, we're going to honor our current contract, but we want to add flexibility to the work rules? To me, that says this is my opinion, that says once this current contract is up, we're going to negotiate pretty darn hard with it. And, you know, that's what I take from that. That is merely my opinion. You let me know what you think of those comments. You know, the CEO, Carol Tomey, said of UPS, the CEO of UPS is Carol Tomey. She said they sold it because they're operating a new policy of better, not bigger. So it makes me wonder about a couple of the other UPS divisions. You know, they own Coyote Logistics. Makes me wonder if they're maybe going to, spin out Coyote Logistics or sell Coyote Logistics. But UPS will take a $500 million pre-tax charge-off this year because of this deal. That is massive. Maybe not for a company like UPS that did $74 billion in revenue last year, but it's still a pretty good tax write-off. Let's just leave it at that. So the current situation with the union is, of course, TFI says they will honor the current contract. I believe they're under contract till 2023 right now. And the way it's going to work is when the deal is complete in the second quarter, anything from there on, TFI will assume the pension obligations from there on out. So any kind of pension that, part of your pension that's earned from there going forward, TFI will be responsible for that part of the pension, and they said they will honor the contract and the pensions. Anything from and this deal will be completed in the second quarter. So you can basically say from the end of the first quarter back, UPS will be responsible and manage the pension obligations for the people that have earned pension, up to that point. So not only your completed pension, but your partial pension, UPS will be responsible for that. TFI will take it over come the second quarter. So there's a little bit of clarity for you guys. Let me know what you think about the deal. Do you think it's a good deal? I think it's one of those things where it's good for UPS because a company that's losing, a division that's losing $400 million a year, and the losses are getting worse every year. You can tell by the numbers going up drastically. It's just not their core business. When UPS bought into that, I don't think they ever really thought it through to integrate it properly. And that's where they're at. So I think TFI has their work cut out for them. I seen a thing, TFI has acquired 90 different companies, either wholly or partially, since 2008. So in the past 12 years, they've taken over 90 companies. So think about that. That is huge. TFI, loves buying pre-existing companies, but This UPS deal is their biggest deal, and honestly, it's their biggest challenge. Because let's face it, when a company's losing $400 million a year, you got to figure out something quick. And you got a union contract coming up in a couple years. So, maybe 2 or 3 years, you got to start thinking union contracts for, 11,500 unionized workers. TFI's got their work cut out for them. Let me know what you think about it, guys. Hope this video provides a little bit of clarity. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to hit that subscribe, that like, and that share button. And until later, take care of each other. Bye.